until the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of change, we will always choose to remain the same. So he's got to get us out of the nest, and that's not always comfy, cozy. Sometimes we just need to get the boot out of the nest, go into a free fall, and trust that he'll catch us and that we'll learn a whole bunch on the way down and on the way back up. So I want to talk briefly here also about the types of heart trauma that happens to us in our lives. So traumatic wounds have been kind of classified into two different types. Let me just read this quote here, and I'll put the book that I'm quoting from up on the screen. Traumatic wounds can be caused by adding something to us we should not have, just as a bullet adds its effect to a body it encounters. Traumatic injuries can also be caused by the absence of what the soul needs, just as malnutrition can cripple the body. Traumas not only cause injury and pain, traumas block or slow the process of maturity. So God wants to heal the trauma, the wounding, the pain that's in our heart and soul. And oftentimes to do that, he has to remove or woo us into being willing to surrender the protective barriers we put up to survive. And God understands that, right? And so he very lovingly works with us over the years, over the decades of our lives, so he can get to the root of areas to heal them. So there's these two types of trauma. Some say type A, type B. One is the traumatic, adding something into your life like the bullet. The other is the depriving your soul of something, kind of like malnutrition. And oftentimes it's a combination of both that we have in our lives. So therapy is helpful, right? Now, I'm not a professional counselor, so if you do a free coaching session with us, I'm a pastor. I'm not a licensed counselor. So when I say therapy could come with a friend over a cup of coffee. It could come with a pastor. It could come with a professional counselor. So therapy is helpful for all of us. We need therapy because therapy gives us an opportunity to be real and honest. But therapy, when you go someplace to talk with somebody, in whatever context it is, and you receive some therapeutic process, right? Then you have to go back into your community, into your life, and still remain open and still remain honest. And so sometimes there's a tension where, I wish I could have that conversation with that pastor or that counselor or that friend every day, like every single 7 days a week, a morning coffee, and get that kind of a therapeutic process going. That would be great, but it's not practical. I can't afford it. We can't make that happen. It's just not practical to do so. So we get therapy, we get really blessed, and then we have to go back into our situation, into that marriage, into that workplace, into your personal life. And so the marriage relationship is meant to be a primary source of community, and I dare say even a source of therapy. That's the ideal. And I realize that many of you that are watching this are like, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But my husband or my wife isn't really going to provide that for me, and it's not a good situation, and I empathize with you if you're in that situation. But it's designed that way, and God desires to bring it to that place where the marriage can be a source of community, an environment where you can keep your heart open, where it can actually be a therapeutic process in your life. So I want to read just one more quote here. Dividedness and woundedness keep people stuck when a person lives on the basis of the lies that result from traumas. That's a lot packed into that sentence. So basically, A traumatic event results in two things. It results in a wound, and it also results in a lie. So something painful transpires repeatedly, perhaps in your childhood, for example, and we suffer from the pain from the wound, but also what's written, the caption, if you will, the caption that gets written over that scene, over that memory, and over again, these captions just keep getting written over these pictures, over these memories, and hence a pattern of lies, falsehood that we're living out of. And so it's a twofold process, because a lot of times when as Christians we go for healing from our woundedness, and we go into a prayer line, or we go to counseling, or we go for inner healing prayer, we might feel something of comfort come, minister to the wound, and we feel better, but we haven't really gotten to the lies. We haven't really gotten to the lines of code that were written or captioned over our memories time and time again. And so we might get some temporary relief, but then the lies just keep reattaching themselves. And so we keep believing the lie, then we start feeling bad again, and it's like, well, okay, those 2 aspirin helped my headache for a while, now my head's hurting again, right? Same principle. And so that's why a lot of times Christians will get locked into discouragement, because they go for prayer, they feel better, then they feel bad again. It's because those lies, those captions are re-expressing themselves and basically making you hurt again. So that's just a little tidbit I wanted to share with you. Hopefully it's encouraging to you. I realize that, I'm not promoting pain. I'm not saying, I hope that your graph goes way up so that you'll be forced to change. I'm just noting a principle of how it's worked with my life, and it's worked with hundreds of people that I've ministered to, that in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the wounding, God's like, I've got you postured and positioned to make a transition. It won't be easy every step of the way, but I am with you, and we can do this. So again, I pray God's peace and blessing on you today. And if you want to take advantage of that free coaching session at the end of this video, I will put my email up on the screen, and please feel free to contact us. So God bless, and we'll see you soon.